Preeya, slow cooking is one of my favourite things. I've told you many times I love cooking things low and slow. It's a great way to take a cheaper cut, which has done a lot more work and it's going to be tough, and put it in the oven, and when you cook it low and slow, it unwinds all those muscle fibres so it becomes nice and tender and tasty, and you can add a lot of flavour to it and moisture as well. So it's a great way of doing so many things. So I've got the stew pot here, which is a great piece of equipment. I've got several of these at home. I use them all the time. Enamel on the inside so it's non-stick, and you've got this cast iron on the outside. Great for holding the heat, and that's what I'm looking for. And the thing I like about it, it's big. It's a big pot, so you can cook for a lot of people, and then you can pop the lid on and pop it in the oven, and it will hold a temperature quite high or quite low. So it's a real go-to piece of equipment. Believe me, you buy it once and you'll have it for the rest of your life. Okay, I've got the pot on already, and I'll just put some oil in there, so I want to get it really hot. Now, this pork shoulder, I've got the skin side of it here. You can take it off if you want, but I'm leaving it on, and with the soy glaze that we put on it, it's going to come up beautifully. Now, I can tell it's quite hot, so you want to be careful putting this in. Pop it in here like this. You'll see a bit of a sizzle going on, and then pop it down. It's starting to bubble away. That's what I'm looking for. We're going to brown off that skin nicely, and then we're going to turn it over. But while it's on this side, which is the flesh side, that's the bit we want to season up. So plenty of salt on there, because salt loves meat and meat loves salt. There we go. It's like a mantra.
It's like a beautiful harmony. So the next step is for us to sing it, and you be the low voice and I'll be the high voice, or we can swap.
Pepper's really good on the pork. It gives it lovely flavour, and that's what I really like to put.
Right.
You're going to make the marinade for me that we're going to pour over the top of it. The marinade, the sauce, the flavouring agent that's going to make it nice. Chilli powder, you've got dried chilli there. You've got some honey, some soya sauce, maple syrup, vinegar, and some mirin. So pop it all in there and whiz it around. And while you're doing that, I've got these onions here that I'll just cut into large pieces. Now, because this is going to cook for 3 hours in the oven...
Keep it chunky.
Exactly. Keep it chunky, so they will cook down, but they won't fall apart and be really mushy. But they'll also be really good at giving out flavour. That's what we're after.
Lovely. This is I love the way you do this. You just put lots of different flavours together and it makes this beautiful marinade. So I'm very excited to taste this one because there's a lot going in here.
It's almost like I don't know what I'm doing. You know? Just almost like I don't know what I'm doing.
Then you taste it and you're like, nah, he knew. He knew the whole time.
Now, big red chillies here, lots of flavour, lots of spice, and I'll just slice them in half like that. Ginger I'll slice all the way through here. Now, the reason I like this pot is because I can brown stuff off in it and then cook the whole thing in the oven, which is one of my favourite things as well. Now, I'll just grab my big fork over here and then turn that over. You'll see we've got a nice bit of colour on that one, and it's pulled apart a little bit. That's what we're looking for. This is going to braise up beautifully in the oven, and everything will soften up. Now, around the outside, I'll put the garlic and the ginger and the chilli, and the onions go around there as well. It's all mixed together beautifully, and I pour this straight over the top here like that. Now, if I wanted to, I could crackle this pork up and then put it into the oven in this pot without a lid, and it will roast beautifully. So it also makes up a really good roasting tray as well. And it will cook beautifully. Now, if you could pass me the coriander and the spring onion, pass it over here, and that water as well. We're just going to give this a bit of a rough chop like this. I'm using coriander and spring onion. You can use whatever herbs you like. So I pop them around the side here like that. And then for a little bit of extra liquid, I pour some water over the top, because when this cooks, you'll get some juices coming out of the pork, and that soy sauce, that marinade we poured over the top, is quite strong. So a little bit of water in there as well, just to help with it reducing so it doesn't burn on the bottom. We want it to come together nicely, so we've got a sauce in there as well as flavour for the pork as well. So
I like to throw the spring onion everywhere. Sorry about that.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's all
fanfare. But this is my kind of cooking. You've got everything in the one thing. You've got it on the stove here, and then you're going to put it in the oven. I love this. It's just a one-pot delicious wonder. And I know what you're doing with the water, because you don't want it to be too robust.
Exactly. On goes the lid. That'll keep all the juices, all the flavour and all the steam in there. This goes in the oven, 160 degrees Celsius, about 3 hours. But you know, at about 2.5 hours, I touch it with a fork and it falls apart. Then I know it's ready, and we'll bring it out and have a look and taste it.
Yum.
And it's time to get it out. And I'm hearing sort of like the Star Wars voice. Richo, use the fork. Use the fork. There we go.
Oh my gosh, what a
you like
dad
that?
joke. Good for you.
And in we go like that. And then just carefully pop it over there.
Let me give it a little wipey wipe there. Beautiful.
That is fantastic. And I'll just grab the ladle here and pop some of the sauce over the top there.
It smells, I mean, that glaze with the onion and the garlic and the herbs, wow. So good. Could you put noodles with this? Pull it apart and put it through noodles?
Yes, you could very easily. You could serve it with noodles on the side. You can serve it with rice, potatoes, whatever you want, but it's all about that lovely sweet glaze all over it. And you can see it's nice and shiny as well. I'm going to have a little bit of a carve in here, just this little piece here. Oh, look at that. That just falls apart.
Off.
Just touch it and it falls apart. I'm going to hand this to you, Preeya.
Oh, so beautiful. I'll take it with my fingers, shall I?
There we go. See how crumbly it is?
I can. Very soft, juicy.
That's what I'm looking for, a really delicate mixture. Now, a few spring onions on top there like that, and maybe a little squeeze of lime over the top there to make it even more acidic and flavoursome. You liking that?
I am. I've got lime juice in my eye whilst I'm enjoying this deliciousness, but that is genuinely delicious, packed with flavour. I'm thinking you could put bok choy on the side, greens and...
Green vegetables, rice, that sort of thing, potatoes. But I reckon with the back of a spoon, I could just push that down very gently, apply a little bit of force, and it would fall apart and relax into that juice.
Perfect. Star Wars puns galore.
You like that?
Well done.
Use the fork.